let's talk a little bit about like what you need to know about this game, and like if you bought this game and you're sitting at home, like what you need to know to get started, because you went through all that by yourself or just using the internet or whatever. And so maybe we could give a little insight onto how to make yourself better at the game to start out with. Like what weapons should you pick? What's the easiest stuff like, or what's the hardest, whatever, stuff like that.
Okay, well, I don't like to tell people to like pick the easiest thing in the game. I think that you should learn the game. If you're looking for an easy weapon to start off with, I think the recommendations in the game where if you highlight the weapon, it like gives you a recommendation as to which is the easiest is pretty good. Anything that attacks faster in general is going to be much easier to play. Anything that transforms is going to be much harder to play. Anything that slows down your movement from your normal run speed is going to be harder to play too. So good weapons to start with would be dual blades. Sword and shield's a good one. I think longsword's pretty good too. Those are probably the ones I would stick with if you're really having trouble and you just want to like get the basics down.
Yeah.
Now you played with a sword and shield, right? The first one. And what did you think about that?
I did not know how to use the shield, so I never did.
Okay.
So I just slashed him with the little dagger thing.
That's honestly not far from how you're supposed to play it.
Oh.
You don't really want to use the shield.
Okay.
Then why is it?
Why is it there then?
For when you need it.
Oh, for the few times that you actually need it.
Okay.
Well, I played with the dual like daggers, and that was really fun. The demon mode or demon rush or whatever it was called. That was cool because you get to use your stamina and do like some crazy like flips and moves, and all your damage is.
You guys didn't even see the crazy looking air attacks. There's one where you you sort of spin like a pinwheel down the monster's entire spine with a jump attack. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's cool. That's cool. So I definitely liked that. Of course, it was the only one I really like got to experience myself, but it was very satisfying to spin around and hit the monster for a bunch of damage and see it fall over and stuff.
Some of the other weapons I would like encourage people to try out, especially once you get a little more into the game. And really the game, if you're trying to get better at it, it's basically try and predict what the monster is doing 2 seconds ahead of time. If you get to the point where you actually have an idea of what it's about to do, it means you're getting better.
So like kind of like Dark Souls in that way, like how they all have tells before they do a specific move, and you need to know what they're about to do.
Not only that, but patterns of predictable behavior.
Yeah, that move when you were fighting the big T-Rex guy, he would like turn around and look at you before he whipped your tail, and that got you like once.
Yeah.
But then after that, you were like, okay, well he's looking, so I need to like dodge and get out the way, stuff like that.
Yep. And I think the cool thing about the game is as you learn that particular monster, and then you learn the weapon, you sort of smash the two together and learn how to take advantage of that monster's patterns with that weapon. And it's different for every weapon. Like, for example, with a greatsword, if you see the guy tail swiping, you might think, oh, great, an opportunity to charge my sword. And so as soon as he turns around, I can hit him. Or when he stops swinging his tail, I can hit him. Whereas you see, oh, I have dual swords instead. Okay, now I can just go into demon mode, dash under his tail, and start chopping his legs. So what I would learn to do, try and figure out your punishes. I would look at it as a game where you punish the monster for making mistakes and leaving itself open. So you want to be as safe as you possibly can. When you see the monster do something that it can't cancel out of, you want to attack. And based on how vulnerable, like the period of time you think the monster is vulnerable, choose the attack appropriately. So like with a dual sword, you have really quick combo attacks you can use if the opening's small. If the opening's a little bigger, you can do a longer combo. If the opening's really big, then you can go crazy with that flaily move. Yeah. So that's the way I would look at it. And every weapon, has those different sized opportunities. Like longsword has a move, it has a lot of like slashing, like poking slashes, but it also has a long combo you can do. And if you land the last hit, it powers you up. Whoa. So that whole game, the whole weapon is about, filling up your meter so that you can find that one opportunity to land that big combo. Yeah, so every weapon has a different flow to it, but it all comes down to punishing the monster when it's vulnerable.
That's really cool.
What about items? There's a ton of items in this game, and they all do really different things, and it's hard to keep up with them all. What do you recommend? Like, I'm trying to figure out how to ask this. Before you go hunt a monster, do you have like a set amount of items that you always get, or do you have to like prepare and buy certain items?
You can absolutely set up like a sort of like a preset loadout of items. You can save multiple ones. So like, for example, if you want to capture a monster instead of kill it, you can set up a
whoa,
wait a minute.
Go back.
Capture monsters?
Yes,
what
you
does
can
that
capture
do?
monsters.
What's the difference?
You get different rewards, and sometimes it can be a little easier because as soon as they start limping, you can capture them. So you might not have to do, like, for example, if you had captured
that. Why didn't you tell me?
You didn't have the equipment to do it.
You have to have like a net or something?
You need some kind of trap either a shock trap or a pitfall trap, which you generally have to make in advance because you need the trap tool and you have to buy that. You can't really find it.
Cool.
Yeah, and
That
you
is
need
pretty
tranquilizer
sweet,
bombs.
man.
Yeah, so something like that. If you know
Tranquilizer
that like a monster is weak to a particular thing, like say there's a monster that's weak to poison, you can bring poison throwing knives in advance to poison with that. Flash bombs are, for example, that's a good newbie tip. Are extremely good. Anything that flies, if it's flying in the air and a flash bomb goes off in front of it, it just gets stunned and falls out of the air every time.
Oh,
So
that's
those
nice.
are super
That's
useful. As a newbie, yeah, there are a ton of items. The ones I would start off with are potions, mega potions. Learn how to make those. You need, I think it's herbs and honey makes a mega potion. Later on in the game, I would
When
start
I
worrying
grabbed
about
that
traps.
honey off that
Yeah.
tree, it automatically made a potion. Does it always automatically just make whatever you have?
You can set up whatever items you want to be auto crafted. You can
That's
actually
cool.
change
That's
that
cool.
if you want. Yeah, it makes it. They've done so
Makes
many
it
things to
easy-
make the
more
game more
streamlined,
convenient
yeah.
to play. Yeah, because you used to have to gather herbs one by one by one by one, and then you have to sit there and craft them. But
Now it auto does.
yeah, I would worry. Traps can help a lot because they basically the trap just gives you that giant opportunity that you want to do damage. They
Yeah.
just give you one every time. That's what makes traps so
Okay.
good. Flash bombs are really nice. If you're a gunner, which we haven't talked about that too much, if you're a ranged weapon user, you want to carry your best ammo types. For bows in particular, I would you want to bring power coating, and you don't want to make a bow that doesn't equip power coating, basically, just because it's so good.
Yeah.
I don't know as much about the bow guns, but I think slicing is supposed to be really good. In
Now, how
particular.
much ammo do you get? Do you have to worry about running out while
You
you're
do,
in
yeah.
the middle of a hunt?
You do, but they've made it a little easier. For example, on bow, you can run out of power coats, which are your best damaging coating, but you have an infinite amount of close range coatings, which are probably the next best.
Okay.
So
So-
with the range, is that something you want to do if you're running solo, or is that more of a team-based thing?
In previous games, it was harder to do early on because of ammo, because you didn't really have good backup ammo, and
Mhm.
your times would be a lot slower. You might have
Mhm.
more trouble. You'd have to spend a lot of money buying ammo. I think it's a lot easier to solo now.
Okay.
I played mostly bow through the first half of low rank, like
Okay.
90% bow, and I was fine. I do think still that ranged weapons are a little more punishing to play. They're a lot less forgiving of mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
It helps now that you can see how much damage you're doing, but if you don't hit the monster's weak spot with a ranged weapon, you can be doing 1 damage per hit with a bow.
Oh,
Ooh,
God.
yeah.
And that's even with power coating, so you're actually using up ammo.
To
And
do that
especially-
1 damage, yeah.
Yeah, and now you have infinite whetstone, so you never have to worry
Yeah.
about that as a melee
Mm.
user. So
So there's a challenge for the newbies then.
Yeah, you definitely need to be a little more disciplined
Yeah.
with a ranged weapon for sure.
Nice.
And if you really are interested in playing ranged, I would do a little more research online.
Okay.
I definitely don't think they're as newbie friendly. If you really do want to just jump into it, I would play bow. That's probably the easiest one to pick up and play.
That's great.
Sounds good, man.
Well, I mean, I think we've talked a lot about how great the game is, and I think that I will definitely pick it up once it comes out on PC, and I'm excited to
God
see.
willing, it ever does.
Yeah, please don't hold out on me. But I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We just updated our Twitter and Facebook and all that, and we're going to be on those sites all the time. So the links are in the description of this, and our YouTube channel should be up and some videos, so you could check that out as well. And if you want to comment on the show, do it on the YouTube channel or send us some stuff on Twitter or email. Let us know what you think we should talk about next. If you have some big thing coming out, board game, card game, computer game, video game, whatever, we'll do it. Also submit stuff for Game of the Week. We're going to do some more of those, and we'll talk about you guys' submissions for that as well. And I think that's it. Did I miss anything? Oh, Patreon. You can go to patreon.com
Give us money. It's
/ Ant Media. Yeah, help the Amphigoria Effect Network. We're trying to get some more shows out to you guys besides just this one, and any contributions there would be a big deal. Plus, you get some extra stuff, and if we get some patrons on there, some more patrons, we're going to start doing some live streams and stuff too, and you guys will get special stuff for that. So I appreciate everyone listening, and anybody got anything to say in parting?
Just hunt monsters every day.
Hunt monsters.
Never stop.
Hunt monsters every day.